this way. Hi, everybody.
We have a pending one-day work stoppage at the liquor distribution branch. I'm just wondering in general if you can defend the government's decision to privatize that particular distribution network. What was the reasoning behind that?
Well, you know, the whether or not it's privatized is going to depend on what we get back in the RFP process. So we need to see that if we're getting, if the offers we get for it meet our expectations, and if we think we're going to be able to get a great deal for taxpayers, then we'll move ahead with it. But we don't know yet whether or not we're going to be able to do that. So, but the thinking behind it was, we want to get, if we can get a great deal for taxpayers, why should government be in the business of driving trucks around and delivering liquor? It's something the private sector can do equally well, and we might be able to get a good deal for taxpayers out of it.
Any sort of thought to privatizing government-run liquor stores eventually?
Well, that hasn't been something that we've contemplated. I know it's something that Alberta's done successfully and other jurisdictions have done, but it's not something that we're contemplating doing.
So you're having lunch at Todd Stone's house after this, I understand.
Yes.
Are you endorsing him as a candidate?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to endorse any candidates, but I do. You know, we are out there trying to recruit great candidates in every riding where we don't have an incumbent running. And Todd, I'll tell you, is a great candidate. Boy, he's someone who has brought lots of jobs to the city of Kamloops. He has innovated in the high-tech field, which is an area I think a lot of us would love our kids to be able to work in. And he's a great family man. He's a real ethical, hard-working person.
Does someone like Kevin announcing that he's not running almost help you, Christy, in maybe getting re-elected? Obviously, we know Kevin was part of the Campbell government, so does this just one step in kind of distancing yourself from the Campbell government?
No. You know, Kevin and I have worked together since 1996, and we slugged it out in opposition through all those terrible years of the NDP. And Kevin has given a lot to this province. You know, if Kevin had made the decision to run again, I would have absolutely supported that.
No, all the polls suggest that the government is pretty well behind everywhere. I know in the interior, which has been a Liberal bastion for years and years and years. What can you do? I mean, you're down more than 2-1 in decided voter support. How do you recover in the interior? I mean, it doesn't look good right now compared to previous years going into a vote.
Well, I mean, I think you should ask Alison Redford about the value of polls. But I think more importantly, over the next year, what we need to do is really talk about what's going on in the economy. 57,700 net new jobs created in British Columbia in the last year alone. We are having incredible economic success despite a really difficult environment around the world.
What do you think of the idea of a strip mine within a city, though? Within
I think he's talking about Ajax, Mike?
Ajax, yeah.
Ajax, yeah. What's your view on that?
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm a big supporter of, I'm an enthusiastic supporter of mining, and we have a plan to enable the creation of 17 new and expanded mines across the province, and we've really been stepping up to get the permitting out the door on those. But in the Ajax, and we support that because mining means terrific family supporting jobs for a generation of people. I mean, mines can make a real difference in communities and making it easier for families to be able to support the people that they love. But the Ajax mine is in the midst of its, or is getting into its environmental review process. And, you know, I support mining 100%, but it has to be done in a way that is environmentally sustainable. But I think that's really, I think, the question that most people want to see answered in the community here. Is this something that can go ahead in an environmentally sustainable way? I think there are people on both sides of that. For me, I'm going to wait and see what the outcome of the process is.
I think the electorate will have forgotten the thing of the HST situation by next May. Is that an obstacle you've got to overcome?
You know what? I think by the April we're going to be going back to the PST, because the legislation we brought in the legislation. I kept my promise to the people of British Columbia that we would abide by the results of that referendum, and we are doing that. But I think, you know, come next May, people are going to look around and say, do they want to take a risk on putting all of this economic growth, to gamble this economic growth away, to put it all at risk? Or do they want to carry on and try and make sure that we are pursuing the policies that are going to mean people are able to work, particularly in the resource sector?
Do you think a Premier Dix would open up the vault to give teachers what they want?
Well, you know, the thing about it is that the NDP have refused to say refused to come clean about what they would do with public sector contracts, even when when we were still negotiating with the TF, and we were saying no, it's got to be 0-0. The NDP refused to come clean about their position on that. So, quite frankly, we don't know, and I think taxpayers should worry as long as this is a secret.